Welcome along to Brands Hatch, the final round of the Motorsport News Ford Fiesta Junior Championship, Ford Racing UK's Junior Series. Charles Liddell on pole, Ben Wilcox starts alongside with Aidan Moffat and Alfonso Skritska on row 2. Jack Mitchell is on the inside of the third row, JJ Ross next to him, then Rory Collingbourne and James Bourne, Alex Reid and Natasha Hussain completing the 10-car grid, so that means we're into double figures. A fantastic first season, and this the penultimate race of the year. Lights on. Championship leader Charles Liddell starts well from pole position, gets away, but look at JJ Ross scything his way in yellow past Jack Mitchell. Alfonso Skritska on his outside, they're going into paddock for the first time. Down Halewards, it looks like they've all made it through. Great start by all the youngsters here, remember 14 to 17 year olds, and it's lights on for Charles Liddell. He's lit up the track this year and he looks like he's going to continue to do so here. Aidan Moffat second, Ben Wilcox around the outside in third. Jack Mitchell, second in the championship, is fourth. There he is, the orange car ahead of the yellow car that we're on board with now, JJ Ross. Coming down into Graham Hill Bend for the first time, working hard! JJ Ross, well, you can see how slippery it is out there. Quick look in the mirrors, as up on the inside on Cooper Straight goes Alfonso Skritska in car number 8. Carter, ex-Carter passes ex-Carter, and there's contact there between Ben Wilcox and Jack Mitchell. Mitchell in 19 pushes Ben Wilcox off the circuit. Well, Mitchell could really do without getting involved. There's a clatter there on Alex Reid in car number 15. I don't know if that's damaged Alex's car. Alex, newcomer to the championship, did his ARDS course here at Brands Hatch. That's the racing driver competency test and course that you have to do to become a racing driver, even whether you're a junior racer. Alex Reid does look like he's got a problem. He's dropping back down the order. So things starting to settle down at the front as we're on lap 2, and it's Aidan Moffat chasing. There's JJ Ross at the moment down in 4th place. What's happened to Jack Mitchell? There he is after his contacts. Rory Collingbourne in the 13 car. Rory, the 15-year-old from Newport Monmouthshire, goes to Clifton College. Having his second meeting, Rory joined the championship at Snetterton, had a retirement in his first race, but 8th, and a good finish in his second one as we go on board with Aidan Moffat. Was here racing in another junior championship last weekend, albeit rear-wheel drive and on the Grand Prix circuit, and I think that practice will have warmed him up nicely for this weekend. We're on the 1.2 mile Indy circuit, for my money, the better of the two if you're a spectator, because you can see 80% of the circuit all the time. Grand Prix circuit, of course, the drivers love. It's a wonderful, wonderful place to go and race, but from a spectator's point of view, you can't see everything. So if it's spectator entertainment that you're after, then the short circuit, the Indy circuit meetings really do offer something very special. And if you are at a Grand Prix circuit meeting here at Brands Hatch, take the opportunity to walk right the way around. It's a brilliant thing to do. And see the other parts of the circuit. Rory Collingbourne running well at the moment. JJ Ross trying to chase down Alfonso Skritska. So we're starting already in these early stages of the race to see a pattern developing. There's Skritska, car number 8. Raced in the opening meeting at Silverstone. Retired in a first lap incident in round 1. Took a 6th place in race 2 and then took a little bit of a break. It was great to welcome him back to the championship at Brands just a few weeks ago. And he was at Snetterton with us too. Alfonso down in 8th position in the championship. So we need to talk about championship points here. Now Jack Mitchell's been in the pits. You can see Alex Reid in the pit lane in the background, left of shot. So disappointment for Alex. Let's hope that he can get back out on track. Running very well indeed. Aidan's best result, 2nd place here at Brands Hatch last time, so he does seem to like the Indy circuit here. He's also grabbed a podium at Donington Park, which I guess you could probably say is similar in terms of ups and downs. So Aidan Moffat, the 43 car, it was 15 years of age. Now I mentioned earlier on that you can move on at 16, so potentially it's potentially only a 2-year option here if you want to move up into the senior formula. But a great training ground nonetheless, and really juniors should be looking at least 2 years, 1 year of getting experience in the car, and then the second year to perhaps have a go at the championship. Everybody reasonably settled in their places at the moment. It doesn't look like we've got too many dramas ensuing, but perhaps the time to have a look at the fastest lap of the race at the moment is with this man, Charlie Liddell. 62.035, 70.09 miles per hour here in the wet. Incredible performance from him. Closing up on back marker traffic. There is Natasha Hussain. Keeps well to the outside of the track. Well done, Natasha. So finds herself a lap down on the champion-elect, who is heading... Now, I mentioned that with Natasha and James Bourne joining us this weekend, the 15-year-old from Kensington, takes the grid up to 10 cars into double figures, and that's what Charles Liddell is looking for. Double numbers in terms of wins. He's had 9 wins so far, a straight run of 5 from round 2 up to round 6, and then last time we were at Brands he took a double win there, a double at Snetterton too, and as we said at the start of the race, he's really lit up the track. You see lights of blaze here and pulling away. He's got a huge gap over Aidan Moffat in second position. It's out to over 10 seconds now. Aidan lapping in the 62s, his best lap back on lap 2. Alfonso Skritska slightly the quicker of himself and JJ Ross. JJ with a 102.7, 62.7, and Alfonso a 62.59. So not a huge difference. That's the best laps that those guys have set. Alfonso on lap 11. So Charlie Liddell then through Clark Curve, back onto the Bradburn Straight. The 15-year-old from Brightlingsea, prepared by WDE Motorsport, very well-known team in the Fiesta Championship. You'll see WDE on the side of Charlie's car, plus the WDE stripes along the top, which you can use to pick them out. There's James Bourne going through shot, the 15-year-old from Kensington we mentioned, run by Daniels Motorsport and entered by Express Park Investments, having his race debut this weekend, acquitting himself very well. Remember, this lad in 32's got a full season of car racing behind him, and the other newcomers here having their first car race meetings, and it is very much about seat time for these youngsters. There's JJ Ross going past Natasha Hussain. Jack Mitchell still running down in 9th place. So Alfonso Skritska, now just looking at his results and thinking about the limited races that he's done, had a 6th at Silverstone, and then that long gap before we saw him again at the last meeting here at Brands. He took 2 5th positions, 5th again at Snet, and then took a 4th. So this is going to be a podium for Skritska. He's really getting to grips with it. You can, the progress is there in the results, isn't it? 5th, 4th, and now 3rd. He's a little way adrift of Aidan Moffat, but it's going to help his championship chances. Here is James Ross, 4th at the moment, 3rd in the championship, and I think that will be safe. It's Ben Wilcox 4th in the championship. James won't be able to catch Jack Mitchell in terms of the championship points. But this is all about racing experience from him. He's kept it on the island so far. He's been working hard, and he's actually set a best personal lap on the last lap, JJ Ross. So 62.7 again. He's struggling to get into the same set of tenths as Alfonso Skritska ahead of him, but he is closing up at the moment. He's turning in faster laps than Alfonso just at the moment, and working very well indeed. So James Ross, the youngster from Watford, again prepared by Daniels Motorsport, up into Surtees. Now through McLaren, there is Skritska, the car that our onboard camera is chasing. There's JJ Ross, not too far behind as you can see, and the yellow car still giving chase, but Charles Liddell is going to take the championship in this race. The points lead is going to be insurmountable. We go back, and James Collingbourne's going to come past Jack Mitchell. Jack's the guy, the orange car, the man that's going to see the chat, and talk about rubbing salt in the wound for him, because Charlie Liddell is catching him as well. So Charles Liddell, the champion, about to lap, I think for the 2nd time, Jack Mitchell, the man who's taken a very brave challenge to him over the course of the season. Down Graham Hill Bend, along Cooper Straight, and Jack Mitchell very sportingly moves to the outside, the right thing to do. Good mature driving from Jack. He's going to pick up 6 points here. So that will sadly be his worst score of the year, but it will mean that he'll drop it. He'll actually pull a few points back in terms of the drop, the net point situation on the table, but that's not going to be enough to keep him in the hunt for race number 2, because Charles Liddell is going to be the man who takes the flag. Rory Collingbourne's in front of him across the line to win the championship. His 10th race of the year. Charles Liddell picks up 16 points. In fact, make that 17 points, of course, because he'll get pole position for race number 2 in today's programme as well. Look at the gap. We're still waiting for the second place driver. Aidan Moffat takes second place. Alfonso Skritska, his first podium, is third. JJ Ross fourth from Ben Wilcox. But congratulations to Charlie Liddell, the Essex racer. WDE Motorsport take the championship title, and Charles will no doubt come out to play in our second race as well. He wins from Aidan Moffat and Alfonso Skritska. JJ Ross fourth from Ben Wilcox. Then Rory Collingbourne in 6th place, picks up 9 points. James Bourne comes home 7th from Natasha Hussain. Jack Mitchell in 9th. Alex Reid, sadly a non-finisher, and the fastest lap going to Charlie Liddell, the new champion.
Welcome to another episode of Racing No Filter. Joining me in sunny California, Bill Wood, and down in sunny Florida, Peter Keene.
We're going to take a look at some of the products HPD has created for the 2012 Honda Civic, and specifically we're going to show you how to install an adjustable sway bar.
Until then, folks out there, you take care.
Want to keep up with all the racing action at the track? Well, download the new GoRacingTV iPhone and Android app. And remember to like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
Welcome back to Brands Hatch, the last race in the 2012 Motorsport News Ford Fiesta Junior Championship. Pole position going to Charlie Liddell with Aidan Moffat alongside. Row 2, Alfonso Skritska and James Ross. Then it's Ben Wilcox and Rory Collingbourne. Onto the third row of the grid, we see James Bourne, Natasha Hussain alongside him, then Jack Mitchell and Alex Reid. Jack, of course, problems in race 1 for him. Alex Reid, a retiree on the first lap of the race after a little bit of contact. Let's hope he gets more lappery here in his second motor race. Great start from the front row of the grid, and look at that. James Ross has got up into third. There is Natasha Hussain, who's had a great start in car number 1, but they're coming down into paddock for the first time. Oh, going off is Ben Wilcox. The red and yellow 88 car's off into the gravel. Now, did he get fired or did he carry too much momentum? Difficult to tell from here, but he's in the gravel. He's keeping it going. Fair play to him. You tend to, first lap at Paddock Hill usually ends up in cars being beached at Paddock, but he's kept it going. Shame a few older drivers in other formulas don't do that, but anyway, he's recovered very well. There's Rory Collingbourne in the 13 car. Jack Mitchell up ahead of him from the back of the field, so Jack's made a great start here, but it's Aidan Moffat out front from Charlie Liddell in white. Then James Ross has got ahead of Alfonso Skritska, so Alfonso's going to be hard pushed here to get another podium, especially with Jack Mitchell behind him. He seems to have got his maladies from race 1 sorted out now. Here they come up to complete the first lap of the race, and it's Aidan Moffat, the young Scot, hasn't had a race win so far this year. A brace of second positions, both here incidentally at Brands Hatch, and both in the first race of the meeting. Last time out he retired here in the second race, so I'm guessing that won't play too much on his mind. The champion behind him, there is James Ross in third. Alfonso Skritska running in 4th place, coming under pressure from Jack Mitchell, and these more experienced racers developing a bit of a gap back to Rory Collingbourne, car number 13. Excellent 6th place for him in race number 1, improving by 2 places on his debut as Jack Mitchell looks down the inside into Surtees. Skritska manages to get across. Alfonso Skritska hangs on to it in the number 8 car, but Jack Mitchell giving notice of intent to try and come through on the inside. This is where we saw contact for Jack Mitchell in race number 1. He won't do it again. He's gained a huge amount of experience so far this year, and although he's down in 5th position, he'll be fighting to try and get on terms with the champion Charlie Liddell, just to perhaps prove a point. We've seen some terrific racing from those two. Who can forget that photo finish we had at Donington Park earlier on in the year? Got to be one of the closest finishes of the year as Mitchell dives down the inside. And can he get through? He has. He's got through. So Skritska drops down a position, and Jack Mitchell, great bit of racecraft there at Druids, grabbed the inside line and moves up a place. His next target's going to be James Ross, who at the moment is a little way down the road. There he is, the yellow car. But it's Aidan Moffat in 43, still out front. At the moment, he's giving chase, and Liddell, doesn't matter whether he's out front or whether he's chasing, he's a very quick driver. Some people get the reputation as being good chasers only. But Liddell, as we saw in race number 1, very happy to get out front and lead a race, get his head down, pull away, and he absolutely blitzed the opposition in race number 1, winning by 14 seconds. Incredible. So it was Aidan Moffat that was second that time, and Aidan wants to get the win here and certainly got the better of Liddell on lap number 1. James Ross still in 3rd place in yellow, and then a gap back to the orange car of Jack Mitchell in 4th. Just seeing if we could catch a glimpse of Jack going through in 4th position at the back of camera, but really you've got to say Lee Tree. There is Jack Mitchell still ahead. Alfonso Skritska is in 5th, and then a gap back to Rory Collingbourne into Paddock Hill Bend. So Liddell trying to take the battle back to the race leader, but it's the young Scot at the moment. So it's the Scotsman, the Englishman. We really need a young Irishman to come in, then we could get a few lines out. But at the moment, JJ Ross is there in 3rd place and putting pressure on Liddell. I've got to say that the battle here is on for 2nd. Ross putting it on. Here's the onboard shot down through Graham Hill Bend, along Cooper Straight. Changes up, coming up towards Surtees. Turns in now, takes the curbs well. You can see Liddell's getting aggressive, changes down now and then into clearways. Liddell's actually now getting a little bit more threatening towards the race leader. I think JJ's lost a little bit of ground here. Let's see if we can work out where he's quicker on the circuit. The camera angle may be just flattering to deceive here, so obviously a wide angle lens in the cars. We look at Liddell. Is he going to have a go for the lead as they come down towards Paddock Hill Bend? He's too far back at the moment. He's certainly harrying the race leader, and that's real what you call pressure, because you can make all the moves you like, but if you're hounding the race leader line for line right behind him, that is really going to apply pressure to the race leader. Now back down the order, here is Natasha Hussain having a very good race in car number 1, another of the WDE cars, as you can see. Oh, tagged by Alex Reid in 15. So Reid involved in the contact again. Remember, these youngsters, no blame can be apportioned there, because these guys in the very early stages of their racing career, they've backed out of it, no niggling at all. Now Ben Wilcox is coming through, the red and yellow car. Remember, he was off in the gravel on the first lap, about here in actual fact, and he goes past Alex Reid, so he's made up a position. And Natasha Hussain showing some of the other young lads are the way around here, which is good to see. 14 at the back of the field is James Bourne. Oh, there's contact with Natasha on Ben Wilcox as they go through. A little bit of inexperience perhaps from Natasha. Oh, and Wilcox is being turned around and off. That was a nasty hit into the tyres for Ben Wilcox. Well, I can assure you no malice intended from any of the drivers. It is perhaps a little bit of inexperience. Here's the view from Ben Wilcox. You can see the contact was on the rear end of the car. The wallop knocks the camera. And of course, Marshall's very quickly on the scene with fire extinguisher if needed. Not needed here. They'll get the youngster out. The race officials will place the yellow flags out there. A caution. We might even get a safety car. In actual fact, it's a red flag, a stoppage with the car on the circuit, and a very sensible decision from the British Racing and Sports Car Club officials here at Brands to close the race down. And we'll get the opportunity, of course, for a restart, which will be, we're being told, of I reckon about 8 or 9 minutes, because the race entries for these cars are based on, the race times are based on track time. The race length's based on track time here. So the cars that survived the incident are back on the grid with Aidan Moffat on pole position in blue, Charlie Liddell in second, and then James Ross third. We've lost Alfonso Skritska as well by the looks of things in car number 8. Alex Reed still there in 15. And away they go. And James Ross gets very bogged down. Oh dear, James Ross gets stuck. Now is he squeezing a car into the barrier there? Side by side with Alex Reed in 15. Alex has certainly been in the wars in this one. And I'm not sure that James Ross saw him coming up the inside, but the race leaders coming up Halewoods into Druids for the first time. A wipe of the wipers for Aidan Moffat from Charles Liddell. Rory Collingbourne is third and up for a potential podium. There is Natasha Hussain, who's in 4th place. And James Ross, after getting bogged down at the restart, has got a lot of work to do. Good job we got the onboard camera. Up in front of him is Alex Reed, car number 15. Through McLaren, into Clearways. And it looks to me like Moffat's soaking up the pressure so far. And that's what he needs to tell himself in the car, that he's done it so far. He took the lead on lap number 1 of the first part of the race. He held on right the way through that. He started so well from pole position in this second part of the race. Up across the line he goes again, down into Paddock Hill Bend, onto the last lap. Charles Liddell, the champion, is trying to close in on him. It's about 2 car lengths between the pair as they go down the hill. Down at the bottom of the hill, up Halewoods, into Druids for the last time. It's lights on for the race leader in case he encounters any more back markers. Into Druids, nice and tight to the apex of the hairpin, back out to the outside line. Liddell's getting slightly more aggressive, slightly more racy line there as they come down into Graham Hill Bend, reprofiled a few years ago, making it a little bit easier, a little bit more bike friendly, I think initially was the thought. And along Cooper Straight they go. It's still Moffat. Is the youngster from Dalkeith going to hang on for his first win? The nerves are going to be jangling in the car for sure. And it's Aidan Moffat. Turns into Clearways. He's still there. Liddell's closing up. And in fact, Liddell getting a faster lap than Moffat on that last one. He's closing in, but the checkered flag's being ready. And Aidan Moffat's going to be added to the list of winners in the Junior Championship. He takes it from the champion. Moffat beats the champion. It's Moffat the winner. Liddell second. Just 1/10 of a second between them. JJ Ross is still third. We wait for the yellow car of JJ to come through. He's got the fastest lap of the race. He'll be pleased with that, and it's a podium for him. But Aidan Moffat celebrating with a bit of showboating up at Druids, the youngster from Scotland, taking his first win in the championship on the last race of the season. Charlie Liddell second from JJ Ross, then Rory Collingbourne in 4th from Alex Reed. James Bourne grabs a 6th position finish, and those finishes completed by Natasha Hussain.
Fantastic result and championship winner. How were the races for you?
Both the races went really well. The first race I got a great start and lost the field and won by quite a way. The second race was I was behind Aidan for the whole thing and managed to miss out on most of the carnage, but I couldn't get past Aidan. He was driving a really good race.
There was a lot going on in the second race. You did really well to avoid it.
Yeah, there's a lot of carnage, but managed to keep out of it.
And you had a really good lead in the first race.
Yeah, I was really happy and managed to wrap up the championship. I'd obviously like to thank WDE Motorsport, all my family and everyone who's helped.